So you're thinking about moving to Hillsboro, Oregon, and you're curious, what is it like to live in Hillsboro, the largest suburb on the west side of the Portland metro, the fifth largest city in the state of Oregon? What's the culture like? What is the economy like? What do people love about living in Hillsboro? Well, today we're going to talk all about what it's like to live in Hillsboro, Oregon, and it all starts right now. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if it is your first time. My name is Jared, and as much as I enjoy making these videos, more than anything, I love helping people out with the buying and selling process as a licensed real estate agent here in the state of Oregon. And if I can be of any assistance to you in any way, my info is right here, and I would love to hear from you. And just as well, if you are enjoying these videos and would like to see more of them in your feed, be sure to like, subscribe, and tap the bell for notifications so you don't miss any updates on what it's like to live in the Portland metro area. So with that, we're gonna dive into the video all about what it's like to live in Hillsboro, Oregon. All right, let's get into it. So Hillsboro, where is it in the context of the Portland metro area? So Hillsboro is located on the west side of the Portland metro. It's at least one suburb over. You go past Beaverton and get through Lowett, you get over to Hillsboro. The northern parts of Hillsboro kind of blend in with Beaverton, and even some of the northern areas, if you were to say where 185th is, kind of north in Rock Creek, some of those might even have Portland addresses, but overwhelmingly Hillsboro kind of starts, kind of 185th and over. Towards the west is Hillsboro. Hillsboro is about 110,000 people, making it the fifth largest city in the state of Oregon in terms of population. By area, it's pretty large, and it's located on the west side, and it's kind of your last major stop before you start getting out into the rural parts of Washington County. There's Forest Grove and Cornelius are a couple towns that are just to the west of Hillsboro, but they're a lot smaller. I want to say 20,000 and 25,000 respectively. But Hillsboro is this behemoth. It's 110,000 people. It's very popular because of the lifestyle, its location on the west side, and as well as the presence of Intel, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. Hillsboro is the seat of Washington County. Washington County makes up one of the three major counties of the Portland metro area. One of the four if you were to include Washington and Clark County. Washington County is one of the most populous counties in the state of Oregon, second only behind Multnomah County, where Portland, Oregon is located. Hillsboro was this smaller farming town kind of, up until the 60s and 70s, when Portland's growth really began to take off. You began to see a ton of development in Hillsboro. A lot of homes built there during the 70s, 80s, and 90s as Portland rapidly expanded. The Portland metro rapidly expanded, especially with the presence of Intel. Intel is the largest private employer in the state of Oregon, and it has 4 major campuses within the Hillsboro area. And because of this, Intel plays a huge part in the culture of Hillsboro and Washington County as a whole. So first off, it's acting as the largest private employer in the state and obviously in the city. But this means that there's a ton of other businesses that service that service Intel, that are located all throughout Washington County. And this is one of the reasons why Hillsboro in the Tualatin Valley area, which is where Hillsboro is considered and lovingly called the Silicon Forest. And the Silicon Forest is kind of a play on the term of, you would think of the Bay Area as being Silicon Valley. This is essentially, Hillsboro and the west side in Washington County is essentially the tech hub of the Portland metro area, and really the tech hub of the state of Oregon. If you are in tech, or if you are working for Intel, this is going to be ground zero for where you are, where life is happening, and where work is happening every day. So they're doing chip manufacturing and tons of other things. There's a whole conversation around AI and data centers, and that is also becoming a big part of what is happening in Hillsboro economically. As a matter of fact, I was looking at a map at one point, and one of the major hubs for the internet at large in the United States and the world is located out in this area. So there's this huge push right now to bring data centers into the area, and so that's definitely a conversation that people are having. At the same time, the potential for economic development is only increasing when it comes to the presence of Intel and all of these tech companies that are located here on the west side of the Portland metro area in Hillsboro. And because there are so many tech businesses, this as a result draws people from all over the world that then come and live in Hillsboro, live in Beaverton, live in Washington County. And this actually makes Washington County the most diverse county in the state of Oregon. There are people from countless different nations, and as a result, there is a ton of diverse food choices out here, whether it's food carts or actual brick and mortar businesses. There's food, there's culture. There's a lot going on in Hillsboro and Washington County as a whole that make living out there very unique and very special. Living in Hillsboro presents a really cool opportunity because while you're further west from Portland, you're adding 10 to 15 minutes onto your commute time. At the same time, you're living in the Tualatin Valley. So you might be familiar with the Willamette Valley that runs north to south from Portland all the way down to Salem and even Eugene. This is the Willamette Valley, and it's this highly fertile area that was kind of the centerpiece and the focus of why people came out on the Oregon Trail. There was this amazing opportunity to farm and to have this new life out here. Well, on the west side of Portland is the Tualatin Valley, and this is where Hillsboro is located. And like I mentioned, Hillsboro was originally this farm town, and before it had its rapid expansion, that was the focus. And it's kind of in its DNA, and with the advent of all the tech companies and Intel, there's still kind of that feel. And so there are opportunities to live in Hillsboro, obviously, but then on the outside in more of the rural areas, you could have an opportunity to live on some land. You could have an opportunity to have a little bit more acreage and space. And you'll notice when you're maybe on the edges of Hillsboro that the mountains are a little bit further away. It's a little bit more wide open. And that just presents a more unique lifestyle out here. There's a major airport out here, the Hillsboro Airport. This is kind of it's the second largest airport in the Portland metro. And it services a lot of aircraft. It's not, if you're going to take a flight around the country, you're almost certainly going to be going to PDX, to Portland's airport. But Hillsboro Airport services a lot of private flights, a lot of corporate flights like Intel. And then you also have the Hillsboro Air Show that happens every year. And it is spectacular, world-class. They bring out a lot of vintage aircraft, a lot of modern aircraft. The military, the Air Force come out and they, do a ton of demonstrations. But there's always something happening in and around there. There are a lot of schools there. There's specifically the Hillsboro Flight School that brings in a lot of international students. And so that's also a part of the culture of Hillsboro. So Hillsboro is the seat of Washington County, and for many years was this smaller farming town. And as a result, it does have a really nice downtown. It's been in redevelopment over the last 20 years or so. And a lot of really popular businesses, some small and some kind of pouring over from the Portland area, have come and made their home in downtown Hillsboro. And with Washington County seat being there, there is a ton of activity constantly happening. So you'll have small little shops, you'll have breweries, you'll have restaurants, you'll have a ton of antique stores that are really fun to check out. But downtown Hillsboro is also known for their Tuesday night markets that happen throughout the summer months. There are also some Saturday markets. There's just always something going on in downtown Hillsboro. It's very much a hub, and people that live in Hillsboro really love it and really identify with it. There is this camaraderie that as you are, walking down these blocked off streets where vendors have everything set up, it's a really fun experience to get to chat with people, to see people running around, and activities for kids, and there's bands playing. And one of the things I love anytime I go down to it is they have an array of classic or vintage cars that you can check out and talk to the owners and learn more about them. I think downtown Hillsboro is one of the best smaller downtowns that's not Portland, that really makes living in Hillsboro a really unique and really fun opportunity. So let's talk neighborhoods. So Hillsboro has countless different types of neighborhoods when you consider how big it is. It's 110,000 people. There's a whole variety of different neighborhoods that one can expect when you're looking at Hillsboro. So you have a lot of older craftsman homes the closer you are to the original Hillsboro downtown. You do have some pockets of older homes, such as the Orenco neighborhood, which is kind of this hidden small town that was eventually incorporated into Hillsboro. It's a little bit further to the east from downtown Hillsboro, but that is an example of an area where you might find some older homes. But largely, Hillsboro expanded rapidly during the 70s, 80s, and 90s as Portland began to get really popular. And so you have a lot of neighborhoods that are mid-century and newer, which is great for modern living and maintenance. But at the same time, if you're looking for something with more character, the further into the original part of Hillsboro you are, the more you're going to find older homes. But you're going to have a bunch of mid-century homes, a lot of 80s and 90s style homes. I would say the different neighborhoods that really come to mind would be maybe the South Hillsboro development, which is brand new effectively. Over the last 10 years, Reed's Crossing has become kind of the focal point of Hillsboro's residential growth. It was slated, we move really, really slow on urban growth boundary expansion in the state of Oregon, which I think is a great thing. At the same time, we've got this massive development going on in the south of Hillsboro that's adding, I think by the time they're done, it'll be about 15,000, people could live in there. There's a new shopping center that went in. There is a small hospital. There's some senior living centers there. And it's right there on the south of town. There are a bunch of homes that I would characterize as, larger, medium to larger family homes. There's also, with, 4 or 5 bedrooms, several living areas. You're also going to have a lot of medium density. You're going to have a lot of condos. You're going to have a lot of townhomes. And so there's a whole variety down there. Another neighborhood that I would consider or just, would highlight would be the Jackson School neighborhood in the northeast section of Hillsboro. And the Jackson School neighborhood is really popular for families. It was largely built during the 80s and 90s and has these larger homes that are above the median home price for Hillsboro, but presents an opportunity for, larger streets, cul-de-sacs, wide sidewalks. There's a small HOA throughout most of it, but it's mostly for, a little bit of regulation and, a nice presentation as you enter the neighborhood. But the Jackson School area is a really popular one with families because you get those medium to larger size homes built in the 90s, well established, lots of character. But many of those homes are also ready for their first major upgrade. And so if you're looking for an opportunity to do that, Jackson School is a great opportunity. Another neighborhood that would be really good to highlight on this video would be the Orenco neighborhood. Now, the Orenco neighborhood emerged, towards the east side of the Hillsboro area, towards one of the major Intel campuses. And the Orenco neighborhood largely emerged during the early 2000s and is this award-winning kind of semi-urban development that is characterized by a lot of row houses and businesses down below and residences above. You have some homes that have, these row houses that have stoops, steps from the street that go up, which is just not a common thing here in the Portland Metro, but is a really fun aspect of this development. There's a New Seasons there and a bunch of other great restaurants. And there is a Max Stop right there in the heart of it all. You have a lot of medium density apartments and condos where you've got business going on down below and you've got residences above, maybe 4 or 5 stories worth of residences. And it creates this kind of quasi-urban environment in the middle of Hillsboro, which is this sprawling suburb, and kind of gives you a little break from, the expansiveness of Hillsboro and the fact that it's, largely suburbanized. Makes for a really unique, walkable neighborhood that's easily connected to a lot of public transportation. So when it comes to schools in the Hillsboro school district, the school district is very popular and it's very diverse. You have tons of different cultures, a lot of different families and students from different backgrounds. Niche.com gives the school district a B rating, but there's a ton of schools that have a lot of A ratings. There are 4 high schools, possibly a 5th, that will be constructed here in the next few years. But there are 4 major high schools: Hillsboro High School, Century High School, Liberty High School, and Glencoe High School, all kind of representing different quadrants of the city. So that means that there's rivalry within the city, but it really makes for a fun culture of different, high school sports. A lot of them, a few of the high schools play at Hillsboro Stadium for football and soccer, which is also connected to the Hillsboro Hops baseball complex. So there's a lot of opportunities for entertainment in Hillsboro, but when it comes to sports, I would say of all the suburbs, I think Hillsboro is the best one, because you have the Hillsboro Stadium, which can seat many thousands of people and hold major events. But then you also have the home of the Hillsboro Hops, which is an LBB farm team. And those are really fun, amazing family moments if you're looking for some good baseball. In theory, at some point, Portland's going to get baseball, but we shall see. But for now, the Hillsboro Hops are the team to root for and be connected to out here. Hillsboro has numerous parks. Also, they have some wetlands that are really cool to explore. I think of the Jackson Bottom wetlands to the south creates this really beautiful and expansive natural area to go and observe wildlife and to get out into nature. You also have larger parks like Roodbridge Park, large, expansive, grassy areas. I think Hillsboro does parks extremely well. You have a number of smaller parks kind of scattered throughout different neighborhoods. You have parks like Noble Woods Park, which is this serene forested park that is slightly hilly, but then it also goes down to a creek that runs through. And it's really easy in the midst of the urban area to totally get lost in there. And quite frankly, you think that you are miles and miles away from the city. And so Hillsboro does parks really, really well. And there are plenty of opportunities for kids to play and to get out and enjoy. And in the south part of Hillsboro and Reed's Crossing, that newer development, they have a park system and a trail system that runs through the whole thing. It creates a great opportunity if you want to get out and get your steps in, or you have a dog to walk. There are a lot of younger trees. It's a newer development, so it's not as shaded, but they have made it a point to preserve a lot of the major oak trees that were out there in the midst of that development. And so it presents a really cool, diverse, newer development to get out and recreate in. So this has been an overview of what it's like to live in Hillsboro, Oregon. Is there anything that I missed, or anything else that you would have loved to hear more about? Leave a comment down below and I would love to read them and connect with you. As I mentioned at the beginning, as much as I enjoy making these videos, I love helping people out with the buying and selling process as a licensed real estate agent here in the state of Oregon. So if you need anything at all, I would love to connect. My info is right here. And as I mentioned, if you want to see more of these videos, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell for notifications so you don't miss any updates. So this has been all about Hillsboro and what it's like to live in Hillsboro, Oregon. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.